Hey guys, Shrek the Monkey here. I want to bring you another review, this time from World of Tanks Blitz, of the German Tier 4 medium tank, the Panzer III. It's a regular Tech Tree vehicle, same with the F4F Wildcat that I reviewed last time. I've played this tank all the way through. I have unlocked everything on it, on the Tech Tree, and I've also unlocked the Panzer III 4's follow-up tank, so I thought before I either get rid of this vehicle or just commit it to just being kind of like a tank that I want to collect, just keep on to. I thought I'd give you a quick review of, my thoughts of it and what I think. So, the Panzer III, how does it play? Well, it's a medium tank, I think, only in name. The armour's okay, it's nothing amazing, it's acceptable, it'll ricochet most autocannon rounds that you'll have fired at you from other Tier 5, Tier 4 and Tier 3 tanks, and there's some lower caliber single shotguns that will bounce off this as well, especially if you angle it. You can't afford to angle it too far, however, because the side armor isn't brilliant. Neither is the rear armor. Frontal turret armor is okay. Again, nothing amazing, but it has the potential to cause more bounces than the front of the hull, simply because of this rather nice gun mantle that you've got right there across the entirety of the front of the turret. I'm not sure if it counts as spaced armor. I don't know the model viewer that well. I don't know if spaced armor is even modelled in this game as it is in World of Tanks. For those of you who know that, you'll be able to work that out. I think this is possibly one of the most enjoyable Tier 4 tanks I've owned so far. This is going off my experience from playing this tank in the regular game. I think it's possibly the best Tier 4 tank in the entire game. I'll probably regret saying that as soon as I pick up something like, something that I find better, honestly. With regards to upgrade path, what do I recommend you go for first? Considering it's a medium tank and it relies a lot more on its mobility than, as you can see here, than it does on anything else, you want your tracks first as the upgrade, and then down the engine line. From there, pick up the second turret, and then it's your choice of either of the Tier 4 guns. I personally go for the Tier 4 5cm gun, simply because I love the rate of fire on this. That, for me, is just an amazing gun to have, is to be able to fire shots that quickly. But I've seen people use with effectiveness the 7.5cm gun. Obviously, you can see they lose rate of fire and penetration for your armor piercing rounds, but your damage goes up quite dramatically, especially if you can penetrate with high explosive. However, your dispersion also decreases and your aiming time increases as well. So if you're going to use the 7.5, it kind of forces you into a bit more of a sort of passive, less aggressive role than you could play with the 5cm, where just having that blistering rate of fire means you can go and charge a heavy tank and circle it and just give him the good news of this. And especially with the armor-piercing composite rigid rounds, which give you 130mm of penetration compared to the regular 67, you can deal with most vehicles using that, even from the front, if you're aiming for weak spots or if you've just got tracking shots. Ideally, are the best way to go about it. With regards to consumables, I've just gone for the regular setup: one repair kit, one first aid kit, one fire extinguisher. Provisions, I've picked them up on this tank. You don't need it to do well. I picked these up after I'd researched everything and got the tank fully upgraded, so this is down to personal preference. If you're going to use any, I'd suggest standard fuel, if you're going to use at least just one, just for the better engine power and turret traverse speed, because again, you rely on your manoeuvrability to survive, so this helps you out with that. For ammunition, I've gone for a loadout of 62 armor-piercing rounds and 31 APCR, just because I think that's a good full mix. I think dropping the APCR lower in some Tier 5 heavy games can cost you a bit. And then 62 AP rounds, regular rounds, will just see you through any game. I don't think you could ever feel the need to fire that many shots. So I think it's more just balancing that kind of ratio between APCR to AP for those of you who intend on playing this tank or currently do play it and want a bit of a better different way to play it out, maybe. With regards to equipment, gun rammer to improve that reload time, because it's a very nice bonus to get 1.25 or 1.26 rounds a minute off extra. Vitality, I've gone for improved modules, just to reduce the chance of damage to tracks, fuel tanks, ammo rack durability, and then also ramming damage reduction, because you can go for rams in this and you can pull it off. Improved optics to get the better view range, because you do fill a sort of a lighter tank role for this medium tank. You're not as much of a brawler as you might be in something like a T-34 at Tier 5. This is a lighter medium tank, if that's fair to say. Engine accelerator if you're going into equipment slot 2, because better engine power, better traverse speed is always nice. And then I've gone for improved assembly because I don't think the enhanced armor upgrade is worth it, because you've got quite a low amount to begin with, and then a percentile upgrade on a low number as a base is not the best. So I'd rather have just the extra hit points so you can take more damage in a game. Then for combat power, out of these two, I'd probably go for... I think I'd take Supercharge over Enhanced Gun Lane Drive, simply because the aiming time is already pretty reasonable for this tier, and having this higher shell velocity and lower penetration reduction over distance would be nice just for pulling shots off either on the move or just taking shots at targets at distance, because leading sometimes with this tank is a bit awkward. Other than that, I think that's about all I have to say. I've enjoyed my experience of driving this tank. It's been great fun. I've had some very nice games with it. I've had games where I've almost carried it out. It can carry. There is some carry potential with this vehicle. However, if you run into fights where you're versus 2 or 3 other tanks and you can't put yourself into a position of concealment or cover, and kind of limit those 3 versus 1 engagement to 3 1 versus 1s, your armor won't save you, neither will your hit points. With that said, I think that's about all I've got to say on this tank. So I hope you've enjoyed the review, and I'll leave you with some gameplay. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
Looks like that one went right through. That one didn't go through. Scratch them!